Hey everybody, this video is to explain Consciously Connected Couples, which is my group. This is also to explain YouTube, right? And the creator economy, as they are calling it currently. And also to tell you a little bit about my program, why I built it, and why I facilitate it. So first off, Consciously Connected Couples is about finding out what's really going on beneath the surface with you in your relationship and why it's not exactly what you want your relationship to be. All right? So if you're experiencing any types of problems in your relationship and you've been experiencing them, you kind of get to a point where you're like, what is this? Why is this happening? At the same time, you fall into patterns. You get used to doing the same thing. You get used to acting and reacting the same way. And that kind of gets trapped in your body. Now, the reasons behind that could very well be past relationships, past experiences, as far back as childhood. Things that happened to you in your childhood could still be in your unconscious or subconscious, and they're going to be driving the way that you're acting and reacting now as an adult. 65-ish% of couples experience the same types of issues because what's going on in the subconscious or the unconscious, they're not aware of, right? So you have the same problems, you're stuck in the same patterns, and then you don't have awareness of it. You don't know the why behind, why are we always angry? Why are we always fighting? So once you get to those core wounds, those core beliefs, those things that are kind of stopping you from getting to next level, then it makes it a lot easier for you to say, oh, now I know what to do in my day-to-day life and in my relationship, not only romantically or intimately, but also in all my relationships, because I know now why I'm acting, reacting, and behaving the way that I am or the way that I was, right? You get rid of it at some point and you can look back and say, oh, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was causing this. Now that I do, I can do something about it. So the next thing is creator economy. So why is everyone on YouTube? Why does everyone have a course? Why is everyone trying to do this thing and build this thing and make everybody sign up for their email list? Because that's the shift. We're going through a giant shift in the universe right now. So if you notice, really large companies, really big banks, people that have been in positions and making millions and billions and trillions of dollars, that's starting to crumble, right? People that have been on top making a lot of money are starting to fall a little and make less money. They're getting called out. Maybe they've been doing something illegal. Maybe banks have been ripping people off and banks are starting to close, right? Just check out the news. I caution, check out the news at your own risk because it's only there to make you depressed. So maybe read the news. That way you can choose what you're reading and what you're taking in. But big banks are starting to fold, right? How many banks have closed in the last 5 years? How many larger companies have filed for bankruptcy because they can no longer survive? Yet, the little guys on YouTube are building million-dollar brands. It's because million-dollar brands built by people on YouTube are actually serving the people that are buying the products and using the services. So that's a really big shift based on how it used to be, right? Big companies, big corporations, it's all about the dollar. How can we make a profit? How can we make more money? How can we satisfy the shareholders? And now the shift in the universe is people are kind of feeling like, you're not here for me, you're here to make money. You're not here to help me, you're here to make a profit. So now that the people like us, you, me, you, we on YouTube are saying, how can I help someone get to the next level? How can I change someone's life for the better? How can I make someone happy? How can I repair someone's relationship? How can I help someone find love? How can I help, right? That's the trend. How can I help? How can I serve? That's a big difference than what we're used to seeing in big corporations and big companies, which are just for profit. Pharmaceutical companies. How many drugs can we sell? How many pills can we push, right? So the dynamic is shifting, and that's why you have more and more people on YouTube saying, this is what I have to offer you, this is how I can help you, and here's why. Now, my why is because I've been in relationships, I've struggled, I've cried, I've complained, I've whined, I've been angry, I've been helpless, I've been hopeless. And then I spent 5 to 6 years focusing on why. Why do I feel this way? What is happening to me? Why do my relationships fail? Why do I feel sad in my relationships? Why can't I speak up in my relationships? So once I figured out the why, then it was easier for me to figure out how to fix it. So most of my why was stemming from stuff that happened in my childhood. And then on top of that, because of the childhood causes, it also happened again in other relationships in like teens, early adulthood, and then a little bit later in adulthood. So once you look at all that and you say, holy shit, I know what was going on, it's a lot easier to fix it. If you're just going to sit in like therapy or counseling for hours and hours, weeks and weeks, years and years, talking about the problems, talking about the communication issues, but not really getting to what's causing them, then you're going to be in therapy and counseling for a really long time, and you're still not going to have a fix. So that's why there are so many coaches, right? So you take counseling, you take therapy, and you sit and you talk, and years later, you still kind of don't have a solution. Coaches, which are people that have personal experiences, here's what I did, here's how I did it, here's how I fixed it, here's how I changed my life, and now here's what I'm offering you, is a lot different than, oh, here's the training that I took, here's the course that I took, here's the degree that I got, and now I'm going to tell you what I got with my degree. Here's what I got with my course. That's a lot different than, I've experienced this thing that was terrible for me. I've experienced this thing that hurt me, and I figured out how to fix that. I figured out how to feel better, and now I'm offering that to you in a smaller amount of time than sitting through weeks, months, years of therapy or counseling, or even if it's coaching, there might be coaches that are taking the same approach as a counselor or a therapist. They might not be getting at the root cause, and you may still be in a situation where you continue to talk, you continue to tell about your problems, but you don't really fix them. You don't really know what the underlying issue is. So that's why coaching has exploded, right? Because it's individual experience. It's kind of like, here's what I've been through, here's how I fixed it, and now I want to help you. That's really different. If you look at the big corporations, the big banks, the big hospitals, the big therapy groups, it's more about how much can I charge you per hour? How long can I keep you in the hospital? How much can I bill you? How much? Whereas coaching, YouTube, creator economy is more about how can I help you and how can I serve you? So the universal shift is like shutting down big businesses, big corporations that are not here to serve humanity. They're more here, how can I get profit? Which there's someone at the top, right? There's a person at the top that's interested in money, interested in profit. And then you come down to YouTube, you come down to the creator economy, and you have someone that's saying, hey, I went through a lot of shit and I got through it. Now, how can I help someone else? How can I help many? That's why a lot of people have courses, right? They're teaching a lot of people to do something that they did. They're teaching people to overcome something that they've overcome. And that's why there's this shift. There's a shift in the dynamic of the world, the universe. Culturally, things are being blown apart. Big people, Hollywood, for example, musicians, right? People that have been at the top and have been trying to serve themselves. What can I take from the people around me that will make me more money or help me feel better versus what can I give to the people around me that helps them feel better? So I hope that explains a little bit about how the dynamic is shifting and how the universe is shifting, because we are all experiencing something. And I know a lot of people come on YouTube and they sit there and they watch and they think, oh, everybody has a course. Oh, everybody has a program. Oh, everybody wants to be a creator. And that's because as these big corporations start to fall apart, more and more people are starting to understand, hey, I have something to offer people. I have something that will help people. And then people are starting to get the idea that, oh, I've been doing it this way for many years and I haven't really gotten the help, or I haven't really gotten to the level in life that I want to get to. But if I take someone's coaching program, then I see results a lot faster for a lot less money. Because what you're doing is you're looking at a much smaller window. So you might be paying $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, but your window of success is a lot shorter, right? So you might do something in 3 or 6 months versus sitting in therapy for a year or 2 years, and then think about how much you've paid over 2 years for like all those sessions. So it's a lot less time. And then what you're doing is condensing everything. So everything's happening a lot faster. So you're jumping into programs and you're learning from experience, whoever the person is that's teaching, and you're learning quicker and you're learning for either the same or less money. So you got less time and less money. And that's exactly why we're doing it. And that's exactly why it's so appealing, because people that are reaching out to you as like the YouTuber or the person with the program or the person that has the course, because they feel like you're there to help them. If you go into your bank and you wait in a line and you don't get good service and you don't get much interest on your money, it doesn't feel like the bank is really interested in you. It feels like the bank is more interested in themselves. And that's exactly what has been happening. And that's exactly why you're starting to see the change. So I hope that kind of clears it up for you. So my goal is to get couples to a place where they're communicating, they're honest, they're open, they're authentic. And in doing that, they're also feeling safe, right? They're feeling like this is the real me, right? Because as humans, we want to be safe, we want to be loving, we want to be secure, we want to be honest and open and authentic. And the only reasons in most cases that we're not is because we have something underlying going on from childhood or from other experiences, other relationships that prevent us from getting there. So when you get stuck or you feel stuck, you don't know what the next thing is, which is where I was. I was like, what the hell is going on here? This keeps happening over and over and over and over again. And once I figured it out, I sat in therapy, I will say 22 years-ish, about 22 years. I started therapy, my first session was in 1999. So that'll give you an idea of how old I am. I know I look extremely young. And it took me until about 2020, I would think. So that's about 20 years, right? Before I started getting the idea, this isn't really working. It's helping a lot. It really helped a lot. Like I cleared up a lot of things, but ultimately it was me getting to next level and realizing I could do all of this in a much shorter amount of time. Like I know now what the root cause was. So anyone else in the same situation, I know exactly what the root cause potentially is. So then here we go back to that shortening of time, right? I can talk to someone, I can listen to someone, I listen to couples, I listen to the guy, I listen to the girl, depending on what type of relationship dynamic it is, whatever your sexual orientation is, regardless of that, we still have the same patterns and we still kind of follow those when we're in that dynamic of the energy, masculine and feminine energy. Regardless of what your gender is, regardless of what your sexual orientation is, you still kind of have that masculine and feminine energy. And once you realize that oh, this is the dynamic that goes on in most relationships, regardless of the type of relationship it is, it makes it really easy to talk to people and say, oh, I kind of understand now what's going on. Here's what I went through. Here's the fix for it. And you just keep knocking those out, right? You get one point and you say, oh, I know what's going on here. Here's how to fix it. And then, a week or two later, something else might come up. And then you know what that is. You know what the cause is. You know what the fix is. That's very, very valuable to someone because they get to shorten the amount of time that they get their fix, and then they start feeling better immediately. So that's what my program is about. Like, I've completed a 2-week program and I've completed a 12-week program. The 2-week program is kind of just this thing that says, here, let's figure out what's going on and let's figure out how to fix it. The 12-week program is more time, right? So then you're figuring out what the problem is, you're figuring out how to fix the problem, and then you're actually going in and fixing those problems. So that's why it takes about 12 weeks, because you go through the program, you learn about why your patterns are there, and then the second part of the program, you learn how to fix those patterns. And then the third part of the program is you actually implement those techniques, those tactics, you start practicing. And then as you do that, you feel better and better. It's easier and easier. And then as a couple, you start to realize, oh, wow, we're actually seeing results now, because not only did we learn about what's causing it, we learned about how to fix it. And now we're actually doing it in our day-to-day lives. And then you start to feel more comfortable with, I can say something, I can do something, and my partner is not going to leave me. My partner is not going to yell at me. My partner is not going to judge me or criticize me. And that's the thing that we tend to go through in relationships. We have this fear, right? I don't want to say this thing because I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to say this thing because I don't want to upset them. I don't want to say or do this thing because they. And we're not quite sure why. We know why we don't want to hurt them, but at the same time, we're not quite sure what's going on underneath that keeps driving us to do that same thing over and over and over again. That's not really working. So that's what the program is about. 2 weeks, hey, let's high level figure it out. 12 weeks, let's figure it out. Let's get the solution and let's implement it. So I hope that gives you better insight into YouTube exploding, course and coaching culture exploding, and how we are serving humanity versus taking advantage of humanity, and why my program is what it is, how it works, how it helps, and why I'm doing it. If you have any questions, comment below. There is a link for a PDF that I have. You can sign up for that. It's free. It'll basically go through all the steps that I just went through, and it'll help you determine, hey, what's the thing that's causing me to act and react this way? And then it'll give you the solutions, right? It's like once you figure out what's going on, then you can start to put in some solutions. And once you start to put in the solutions, you can start to practice those in your day-to-day life with your couple, if you're a couple, or it could be friends, it could be family, it could be coworkers. You can use those same techniques, right? Because those issues that are underlying are causing issues in all your relationships. It's not just your intimate or your romantic relationships. You're actually experiencing the same dynamic in all your relationships. So you may argue with friends, you may argue with family, you may resent friends or resent family. And basically it's the same thing that's causing that in each of those relationships. So just think about it. If you have a problem that's causing issues in relationships, and you fix that, you get rid of that, you understand that, you control that, all of your relationships start to feel better, right? You are able to communicate in all cases, not just in 1 or 2 relationships. Overall, you feel better in your skin. Overall, you feel better in all of your relationships. And overall, you feel better in life. Comment below if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.